Hello, World of Tank Blitzers. It's Littlefinger, and I've got a really fun tank to review today. The Su-122-54. This is a Tier 9 Soviet tank destroyer, and it checks all the boxes I like about TDs. I like to be more aggressive in my TD, so I like a TD that has good mobility. Obviously, you want to be doing a lot of damage, and you want to be shooting a lot in those circumstances. This tank has amazing damage per minute stats, over 3,900 damage per minute. Not much armor, but as you can see, the side cheeks are sloped nicely. That front area is primarily taken up by your gun mantlet, so you are going to get a lot of bounces on this tank, even though you've only got 100 millimeters of armor up front there. So let's take a quick look at the upgrades, and you should be coming from the 122-54 with the Tier 900 millimeter D54S. So what I did was I played my first 5 battles as top tier with this gun, and then used the experience points I got with that, plus some free experience to upgrade to the 122 millimeter. And you can see there's a pretty big jump there, 230 pen to 271 pen. Obviously, I went and got the engine upgraded. Still have not got the tracks, and if you take a look at that, that adds another 7 degrees of traverse speed. Actually decreases aim time a little bit, but my primary goal here is to get to the 263. So just grinding up the credits to get there, and as you can see, it's a small sample size. I've only played 25 battles in this tank, but look at this, 68% win record, 2,386 average damage. So really enjoying how this tank plays. We'll get to some gameplay here in a second, but I just wanted to point out ammunition here. I was running this with a little bit more heat and HE. Had a few games where one game where I did run out of AP, so I bumped that up to 20. 9 rounds of heat and 6 rounds of HE. Pen on the HE is not great, so you don't use it too often, or at least I don't. Make sure you're buying your premium ammo there with credits. And then as far as equipment goes, I am running calibrated shells. Gets that AP pen up to 271. You look at some of these big heavies at tier 10. I think the IS-4, the turret's 250. The WZ-113 is 260. So you're looking pretty good even against tier 10 heavies from the front. And obviously that heat, although not my favorite premium, takes that way up to 375. Running defense system, camouflage net, enhanced gun lane drive, gets that aim time down a little bit. I'm not so sure about the enhanced armor versus approved assembly on this one. I could go either way. You can see I've been running it with enhanced armor, but really 4% of 100 millimeters is not a lot. You might be better off there with the extra 100 hit points. I'm going to leave it there for now. And then engine accelerator. Obviously, we get some good boost to all of these instead of just the traverse speed. So, and then also, as far as this tank goes, refined gun. So as far as my playstyle, I like to try to stay back early, do the the TD sniping, and then get in and clean up in a hurry. So the refined gun, basically the right side of your combat power column is for long distance shooting. And so that gets our dispersion down to 0.297, which is actually really respectable. Anything below 3 is pretty good. And then, I skip over the last two. I don't think it's worth 285,000 credits for that. So let's just take a look at how this tank compares. All right, guys, here's blitzstars.com using the tank compare. I've got the Su-122-54 on the left, and some of the other Tier 9 TDs to the right here. No equipment or anything on any of these tanks, and obviously what I was talking about before, that DPM 3975 just blows away these other tanks, especially when you consider the mobility that this tank has, and we'll get to that in a second. Penetration is right up there with the other ones, so you're not losing penetration and sacrifice of DPM on this tank. And if you're a TD, DPM's where it's at. You want to be on the back sniping, getting as many shots in as fast as possible. And then obviously if you're going to brawl, the same thing. You want to be able to reload and fire as fast as possible. So look at that. We're doing 420 average damage. And our rate of fire is 9.46 rounds per minute. That's crazy. But anyway, as we move on down here, you can see weapon handling 1.9 seconds, dispersion 0.326. We saw we can get that below 3, which is very good, especially when you look at all of these other tanks. Downside, -4 degrees of gun depression. But it's workable. Knowing that limitation, you can adjust your play style and focus on being on flatter terrain or shooting uphill even. You can look at the speed here, 48 kilometers per hour. Only the AMX 50 is faster, so it's got that mobility that you just can't compare it to any of these other tanks in the game at tier 9. So hull armor 100. Obviously, these other tanks have quite a bit more. We're more in line with the Waffentrager there. But anyway, the tank is fun to play, and I'll show you here in a second. So, first game here, Yamato Harbor, top tier. And just looking at team competition compositions, we've got the Maushin, we've got the VK101P, we have got some really good heavy tanks here. WZ111. I mean, this is a lineup made to go up the ship. But the Maushin here goes off to the right, and our T-49's pushed way on out there, so that's fine with me. One of the few maps, Yamato Harbor, that has a landing spot for TDs to camp in, and you can see that first shot just snaps it in there. A little bit of danger there, knocking the tree over, because it does obviously indicate to the enemy they can see the tree moving, but they can't see me, ironically enough. So difficulty here is trying to keep your head on a swivel and make sure you're not tunneling in on any one tank. And as they're popping all over the place here, it's kind of hard to do. And you can see here, this is one of the games where I ran out of AP, so you can see I'm already down to 12 rounds. I think I might have started at 16, and we got 2 shots to go in already. Looked like someone must have shot up here because that fence broke. I don't think that was me breaking it, but luckily we moved. Track the cruel twist there, and just making sure that we're doing damage. If we're sitting up here not doing damage, then we need to relocate. But I see it looks like they're kind of pushing forward around, so I'm going to leave my bush area here and try to get in on this Super Pershing when I see the Jagdtiger coming through. And so I'm going to be a little bit patient, see if he comes into view. And you can see we're down to 10 AP shots already. Here he comes. No problems penning there. Look at that, 500 damage. Nice roll. Don't think he's moved that much, so we're going to go ahead and get in a couple more shots here, hoping for the best. And I think after looking at the end results of this game, only one of these goes in. So I wasted 2 shots there, so we're down to 6 rounds of AP. It looks like our SDA needs some help on the right side, so I am going to push in and try to support him, because obviously we know that Super Pershing's over there, and the Jagdtiger's pushing in too. So here we come, and you're going to see quite quickly here the problems with the gun depression. There's no way I'm getting this down to shoot. I crest over the hill, don't really aim, and miss that shot. He tracks me, so we're going to have to repair that, and we'll get that lower plate and clear him. So we took 2 shots from the Super Pershing. Really, if I had taken my time, we could have done that with just 1 shot. And trying to keep that T-54E1, get him down to a 1 shot. And Jagdtiger does a great job there, angling, and so I bounce him. I was hoping I could get a shot into the rear of the T-30 there, but shoot the track, just splash damage. So luckily the Jagdtiger's still trying to turn around, and we can come back and get him. It's 3-on-3 at this point in time, and this is where that DPM comes in. And look at that, we get a bounce from a TD, a tier 9 TD, And that's what's going to happen with this tank. It's just going to happen. I don't know why. I looked at this in Armor Spectre, and that whole front for him should be penetrable. But, you know, if you hit that gun mantlet or if you hit that slope just right, you're going to bounce. Now, the VK101P shot, we can get 2 shots in before he reloads. So we'll finish him off, no problem. Now you can see I'm shooting heat. And it's the AMX left. He takes a shot there, so he's only got a couple shots left in his clip. So we'll just face him one-on-one. Obviously, I've got the hit points to give away at this point in time, and I just don't want him to get away to reload, because that VK101P would get finished off in a heartbeat, and I would too. So you can see 5,483 damage in that game. And it was just a quick game too. Just always firing, getting in there, brawling with this tank. It's what I love in a TD. So we landed 15 shots there. I think it showed I took 22. Here is another game. Gotta love this. The only tier 9. Mayan Ruins. And obviously our team is going to push up the heavy alley here with this composition. 3 TDs. I'm going to go ahead and stake out this bush here on the left. T49. Had a nice conversation with the Triarchy guy afterwards. But you can see here, TDs are just staked up. Anyone comes around that corner are going to get slaughtered. But doesn't look like they're going to come this way. So I'm going to use the tank's mobility speed here. Sorry, got a little distracted here. So we'll have to pause for a second, and we'll pick back up. And looking in on this Super Pershing again. Not sure why that didn't pen. Tried to aim for that lower plate. I know he's got spaced armor there. Get that one to go in. I know he's only going to do 220 damage, so I'm willing to take a shot. I'd rather dish out 800 and get 200 in return. I see he fires, so I can pull back forward and go ahead and set up. Now, be pretty difficult to pin him unless he turned sideways and showed me the side of his turret, which he does. Thank you. Alright, so now we're looking at how this team's lining up, and our IS-3 defender here looks like he's on a long reload. And I'm just watching these guys down here. They're all shooting at the defender. And I'm just trying to make sure that they've taken their shots. There goes the shot. This other IS-3's on the move, so I figure I can get a shot in here and back up. He gets it into me. Trying to just take out this one IS-3. And look at this, a bounce. We're going to see bounces in this game with this tank. It's awful troll. So we get that IS-3 out and finish off the T-28 prototype. It's a 4-on-4 game at this point in time. E-75 is definitely a one-shot. RHM goes rushing by, but I don't get the shot off. Finish off the VK. Get a shot into the E-75 for our 5th kill. Now it's just the IS-5. You see how fast we can turn, shoot. Just love the mobility and the fast firing nature of this gun. Just backing up here, waiting for my team to kind of all close in. I don't think this IS-5 can do 480 in damage on me. I could have probably waited there for the RHM to shoot and get 6 kills, but we went for the damage. 4,744 damage, 5 kill, level 1 mastery badge. And again, it just seemed like a really quick game. You know, we're in there brawling, and that's what I like about a TD. So you can see here, it's just fun. So we'll jump into a bottom tier game here just to show you what it's like. And obviously we've got some TDs on mines here, so you know, we're all going to line up on the camping spot. And I try to take just the right side of the rock or the left side of the rock so that half of the tank is protected behind the rock. And then we're patiently waiting for someone to make a mistake. And Object 140 takes 1,000 damage, just taking the risk of going up the hill. Not sure where that shot went, but oof, look at that, the Foch with the ammo rack, 1,600 damage. We take a shot, so we're gonna go ahead and back up here behind the rock. We're gonna wait about 10 seconds so that we are no longer spotted, and then we're gonna back up behind the bush and see what we can do as far as looking at these heavies. So here's a T110E3, even with heat, probably because that's rounded. You know, we're not doing any damage there. There's an M103, I believe it was, that was up there too. There he is. You'll see that the E3 turned just enough for me to get a shot into his side. There's a heat shot into that cupola. So yeah, while it's difficult to get pens in, we can do it.
We didn't even scratch them.
And you can see now that the TDs have pushed forward, so I'm going to go ahead and move on out with them. We got a 2-tank advantage. That Object's on life support. He's now gone. And so this is the you know, the sitting in the back, doing your TD business, and then getting in and cleaning up some of these tanks. And you can see that Death Star in the back. He is hiding behind that building, but he's trying to angle. We're just snapping these shots in. It's just 2 left, and this is what I was trying to do with the T-30 in that last game. Get him a nice HE shot right in the rear there. Set him on fire. 523. He obviously had a fire extinguisher and got that out quick. And we turn and take out the 183. So we finished with 3,114 damage and just 1 kill, and you know, that's second on the team in damage for being bottom tier. So puts out some really good damage numbers. Here we are on Falls Creek as a heavy underdog. Only 2 tier 9s, a lot of tier 10s in this game, a lot of big guns. And yeah, you know what, I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive, and I'm going to pull on up to the spot here. I know a lot of you have seen this done with a turreted tank, but you can see here it also works pretty well for a TD. You can use the slope lines to get up and over this ridge, and you're protecting almost half your tank sitting here like this. So Object 268 will take a shot, back up, wait 3 seconds. Are we spotted? Nope, not spotted. We can go back up. IS-4 would take a shot but bounce. Now, looks like the other team has split, so have we. We've got 3 guys up near the cap and the far side of the map, and I'm down here with 4 guys. They've all seemed to have turned their focus away, and I just want to keep an eye on what's happening here at the bridge, because looks like that IS-4 is pushing. Here comes the E100. I can't get turned around enough for that IS-4. He's behind the bridge. Here comes the E100. And yeah, we should be worried, but with heat, look at this. We can get a shot into him, and there's that bounce again. Seems like every game you get 1 bounce. And, you know, it was a shame I got hit by that object. But penning him, not a problem. Look at that, 628 he takes on me, but look at this. 1. I'm backing up, hoping I can get some support. 2, he's coming in, he's ready to fire, and he's driven on past me and gets taken out by the 183. I guess, yeah, that probably wasn't very good driving on his part, and I was lucky to survive that. But again, with that high rate of fire, you can barely survive events like that. We'll get one more shot into the 183. And obviously this was a team that played very well together. And obviously with doing 2780 in damage, you know, I did my part and contributed there. As we finish number 1 in damage, and it's just surprising, and it makes me laugh just looking at these stats. I mean, it didn't seem like much, but I guess when you're pumping out 400 that fast, it adds up quick. So I'm gonna finish with this one last game. Nothing spectacular here, but you know, it just shows you kind of my mindset a little bit, and then also how this tank can handle even fast-moving tanks. So looks like the two of us here wanted to go up to the hills, but our meds came down. Our heavies are pushing into town, and you know, I'm deciding that I need to just stick with the team. But you can see here I'm running along the back line of the map. It helps, obviously, from getting spotted. And, you know, there's not much I can do in town as a TD. You know, you can't side scrape or anything like that. So it's really difficult to get shots in. So I decided I'm just going to push back to the very back of the map, let my camo net engage, and let's just see if, you know, they're up there on the hills. Unfortunately, we missed that first shot. We're already at 50 on the cap here. I did fast forward it, obviously. In comes the WZ-111. And we're just going to move in. Now, I know I've got a T-49 looking at me, so basically that's probably about the best I could hope for in that situation. I was just hoping that he might miss. Look at this. Snap that shot down with a moving T-49. Trying to get around, look at those buildings there. Love that is angled nicely. I'm not going to be able to pen him like that. Here comes the Leopard real fast. Look at that. Another snapshot in there. He does some bad driving. And poor guy. That's not the smartest move in the world. Oh, yeah. Let's just drive through the middle of 7 green tanks. And there's your obligatory bounce from the MX CDC. And you can see here how quickly we've gotten up to 2,300 in damage. I mean, every time I look at it, it just makes you laugh. I mean, obviously, I've had some games where I couldn't get a shot to hit. But it's been few and far between, as you can see by my average there. 3K damage here. And I would have got a shot in on this T-49 had that dead tank not been there that I didn't realize. But anyway, yeah, it's just a really fun tank. It's not, you know, your slow, heavily armored tank destroyer with long reload, does big damage. You know, it does mediocre damage and reloads super fast. So it really fits my kind of playstyle in a TD. And certainly a tank line that I am totally enjoying. And that's rare these days in this game. It's been a little bit painful of late. Hopefully we can fix that and keep getting you guys trained on up and make every single game a competitive game would be my goal. So anyway, guys, have fun out there. Stay safe. Get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.